Wait. Hi, and welcome to the Thinking Out Loud podcast, a show with meaningful conversations in English with non native speakers. My name is Jendrek,
My name is Masha,
and we are two English teachers who,
who are soldiering on no matter what.
yes, that's true, who soldier on and who keep recording the episodes of your favorite podcast. Thanks a lot for being with us. Thanks a lot for listening to our fantastic show. Masha, is it actually
Not only do
really
we
so
keep
fantastic?
recording these episodes, we keep mm, sending out our newsletter.
Yes, exactly. Wait, I was about to say that. You stole it from me.
Uh,
All right. I wanted to ask you before we talk about the newsletter, people wait for it, wait for the information about the websites and everything. But is this show actually any good?
it's fantastic.
Fantastic.
Did you see those
Nice.
numbers, those stats?
Yeah, they are growing, each week. Thanks a lot for that. We are breaching ever new all-time highs. So it's great. Masha, you mentioned a newsletter. What is in the newsletter for those who are somehow miraculously not yet subscribing?
Um, I would say, everything and nothing. I
It's
must
just
say,
like this
I
show,
must say,
I
I
think.
have my doubts sometimes that what if we are just, you know, reading content online? No,
You mean, sorry, I didn't
I
get
mean,
it.
we just
What did we just
create
what?
even more content. There's already so much stuff on the internet, and we're just adding to it. I mean, is there really any value? I wish people
Yeah,
just
there is.
wrote back and
Yeah,
said
you talk about, okay,
something.
people, yeah, feedback. I think, Masha, we are on the brink of designing a questionnaire for our listeners and subscribers because it would be nice to know a bit more about, give us some tips about, the direction we should be pursuing. This is
And
super
when I
important.
listen to something like a podcast or whatever, where people usually say, just whatever's on your mind, please get back to us, comment, tell us what you think. And I usually think, oh my god, it's such hypocrisy, nobody cares about what I think, but I really do. So it
Yeah.
caught up with
Yeah,
me.
that's why
Karma.
I said it in one of our newsletters. We are small and we care. So, it's not like, writing back to us means sending your email to a void. We are definitely going to read it. We are going to even implement the changes. This is the beauty of the internet and small projects like this one. But Masha, you said I don't know if you haven't discouraged people from subscribing by saying there's everything and nothing, and that that we are just content creators. First of all, this newsletter, the mission of it is to provide you with A, something to read, B, links to external sources so that you can keep in touch with the English language. That's I think the main goal of it, because the input is king. Don't forget, listening, contact with the language is king. It is the most important part, I guess, of learning, which for some reason, or maybe for a very good reason, we have been neglecting so far. I mean, it was all about production, the output, speaking and producing language, but listening and reading is super important. Super important. Some people say it's passive. It's not so much passive. It's actually also your brain gets activated there. It's very important. So our idea is to provide you with that, with additional input. Plus, we are also writing some original texts, Masha, there, right?
Hmm.
So you, me, and our guests. By the way, this is not just our newsletter that is Masha's and Jendrek's, but it's also your newsletter. So if you want to, I don't want to say practice writing because it's like it sounds kind of like a school. But if you want to share your thoughts with us, with a wider audience, feel free to do it, to write a story or whatever, some kind of experience that is on your mind, and then share it with us. We'll help you with editing. Masha, is that right? We
This
can
is
edit
correct.
the text. We can make it look right, the way it should look, and then we publish it, and it's always very nice. Thanks, Agata, by the way, for your first contribution. It was fantastic, and we are waiting for more texts, more stories, and also personally, I'm interested in somebody who could share their favorite, maybe not their favorite, but maybe the song of the week, with us. It would be very nice to have, because each week I'd like to have the song of the week. Masha's your song of the week the other day. That was Lady Gaga. Oh my God, that was shivers.
Oh, yes.
Great text, and it when I listen to the songs, when I listen to songs and I don't know the lyrics, of course I can sometimes be moved and so on, but simply by the music. But if you follow the lyrics and if you really comprehend what are they singing about, it's like, whoa, wow, it's a different level of emotions. So I love
Yeah,
that. It's a
it's a
great,
good
great
song.
thing. All right. Fine, guys, so much talking. tolpodcast.com is where you subscribe to this fantastic newsletter and fantastic content. Um,
And if somebody
Masha,
is brave enough to join us on the show, how can they do that?
yeah, they can, of course, get in touch with us either by sending us, I think the simplest way is to send us an email at tolpodcast@hotmail.com. And you may also consider um joining us on Twitter. It's funny because the handle is thinking, speaking without the G each time. Everything is in the description of this episode, so don't worry. I'm not going to spell it. All right. Masha, it's time to talk a little bit about our guest because hooray, hooray, we have a guest today.
We do.
Oh, look, it even rhymes.
Is it
Um,
is it just is it your student?
No, it's not. Once again, I want to say big thank you to Ella, Colombo's wife. Ella, you need to come on the show. There is no way you can do it. And actually, Ella promised me that she will join us before the summer. So summer
Before
is
the
approaching,
summer.
fast. Yeah,
Okay.
fast approaching, but before you know it, it's already, it's already June and it's
Mm.
already summer. So yeah, and Anya, who's joining us today, is I don't know if she's Ella's friend, to be honest, but an acquaintance for sure. And this is how Anya got to know about us. This is how Anya got in touch with me originally, and I find her to be an extremely positive person. I mean, with this, she's got an energy that radiates from her, and the stuff that she has been doing in her life is really interesting. And I think her both CV and her bio very interesting. I know one thing for sure, Masha. We could spend a long time talking. It's a pity we only had 1 hour in between classes when we were recording this conversation.
Yeah, it was a good one.
All right. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please say hi to Anya. Anya, do you know Masha already?
We just talked a few minutes before you went
All
here.
right. All right.
Well,
All
you
right.
were
So,
in the loop.
okay, great. You don't have to disclose the details, Masha. Yeah, sorry, I'm running late, but Ania, it's a great pleasure to have you here. You are our very, very special guest because we don't know each other. Because normally, I think these are, my students, Masha's students, or our acquaintances anyway, who take part in our podcast. You are an outsider, but you are a fascinating person from what I know, because we met one time before. So, Anya, I will try to introduce you, or to say a few words about you and why you are a fascinating person, because you are, on the one hand, working in a big company, in a corporation, and on the other side, you are some kind of a character that doesn't fit this picture. At least, you're doing a lot of stuff, not just working, but you are also a soldier. Can I say that?
Yeah, you can say that's true.
Yes, you're a soldier serving in the territorial defense. I know that you have a really, really interesting history with the English language. It is also something I would like to ask you about. By the way, Masha, I know Ania, and Ania is here thanks to Ella, Colombo's wife. Ella, if you are listening, you have to join us
You
one day. The
absolutely have
invitation is
to,
open.
yes.
Yes,
To
you
prove
absolutely
that
have
you
to.
exist, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You have to prove that you exist. Yes. So, Anya, I would like to ask you exactly about this period in your life when you felt frustrated with your English language skills.
Okay, first of
And
all, thank you for having me.
all right,
And
yeah,
it's a
great.
pleasure to be here. And now I feel a little bit more stressed because you introduced me in a very nice way. And now I feel like I
Oh
have to prove it.
yeah,
That's true. But that's fine. I will try my best.
yeah.
So
I'm really. I would like you to tell Masha and everybody who's listening your story with English, because it's really inspiring, in my opinion.
yes, so I was quite, let's say, I was an adult already when I started learning, because even though I learned when I was a child and teenager, I didn't really care about English. My second language was French, which I don't really know. Even I spent a lot of hours to learn in its school.
Ah, c'est dommage.
Je ne comprends pas.
I'm excluded from this
Uh,
conversation.
Oh.
But at some point, I got this message from the world, let's say from my work experience. I really understood that I have to be able to communicate in English because it's necessary to survive in a business environment, and just for traveling or being more confident and being able to consume more media or any content which we can get, and it's much easier in English to find more information. So I really understood that I have to go bold and
And I
change
think,
my life.
but I think that if I understood it correctly from our previous meeting, is that at one point in your life you are rejected by a big company because of your English skills. Is that so?
Yeah,
Because they didn't
that's
find them.
also true. Yeah, that we can say that was
That was a
maybe not.
tipping point,
Yeah, it wasn't the deal breaker. Like I mean, it was deal breaker because I couldn't speak English. I couldn't get this job. But before that, I visited my friend in Vancouver, and it was just like 2 weeks holidays, and because she was working, she couldn't spend that much time with me. We decided, because she found this idea, I can join some English course in Vancouver for these 2 weeks. and then we can spend time together in the evenings and weekends. I would improve my English in these 2 weeks more than 1 year regular classes in Poland. So I was impressed how quickly it went, and like with pleasure, let's say, because sometimes when I was learning English, I just don't feel good during classes because I already feel like, oh, I'm too old to learn this basic stuff and I should be able already speak. So yeah, that was one thing which pushed me, that can be really good idea to change my way of learning English. And then obviously the feeling of being rejected for really cool company. If I can bring this, what was the company, I think that also can help to imagine the feeling, because I was in interview by Google. So
yeah, it kind of hurt you a bit, and you went as far as Australia, and
yeah.
you wanted to
Yeah, it does.
get to the other side of the world.
Yeah, it kicked me to the other side of the world. Yeah, actually,
But
I
why
decided
Australia?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I really like this question. First of all, because go to England, it was too easy, and I like challenges. I like to get the more difficult way which can exist. But more sorry, just the reason which was maybe more understandable for everyone. It can be that it's quite easy to get a job there, and even unqualified jobs are paid very well. And yeah, and they have a lot of English programs. They actually, their economy is based in some way on people who are coming to Australia to learn English. So
there are
the
a lot of
teachers are
English schools,
amazing.
yes.
Yeah, there is a lot. You can choose what you need, how many hours, what kind of English you need, because they have obviously business English courses, but they also have some different classes. Like you can join some games and learn through the game. You don't have to spend time in a class, so there's so many options with some fun as well. So that was
It's
the
interesting.
choice.
I don't know. Tell me, because I heard that first, it's not so easy to become a citizen of Australia, of the country. But on the other side, those people who come, who learn the language, they are also being somehow trained to be Australian citizens, right? Because I heard, but I can't remember where
Do they
now.
go together, integration classes and English classes? I didn't
Yeah,
think so.
I mean, I can't remember now. I listened to a podcast, and someone said that they were in Sydney, and there are apparently, Anya, you can confirm, a lot of Asians, Asians walking the streets of Sydney. But if you stop and ask them something, where are you from? They say, we are Australians. This is our country. So they don't identify with their countries of origin, but they feel Australians. So I wonder if
for me it sounds quite natural, because if they live there from like third generation of their family,
yeah,
so
that's another
they
thing, of
feel
course.
totally like they are from there, because they are born there, they grow there, so they are in this culture from beginning of their life, and even their parents are already there, so it's nothing strange for me. And for sure is that when you walk through some cities in Australia, there you can see people who maybe looks like they are from other countries and they represent some kind of different culture, because also it's about what they wear, because you can see people
sure.
For like the origin can be from India because they are wearing some specific clothes sometimes, but probably if you see them wearing this kind of clothes, it's because they have some celebration for their culture, like religion or something like that, and it's natural. It's nothing strange, nothing weird. You just feel that's the normal, regular part of the environment there.
I would just like to ask you if Australia tried to turn you into an Australian. Or you didn't feel like, like, hey, they are, trying to eradicate maybe not eradicate, but
I think there are different programs there for people who want to, immigrate to the country. Yes, and for people who just want to study English.
I never heard that. For sure, it's that when you want to get the PR, which is the permanent resident, which allows you to be there, work, and just have your regular life. You get the Australian passport. You need to pass the English exam. And I don't know the rest of the process. Probably it's something like you need to get some knowledge about history, like similar like in US, but I'm not sure about that. But for sure, it's that you can keep your identity, your religion, and I think it's really appreciated if you can stay yourself and bring this to the country. Like for example, it's so cool. You can find amazing food from all over the world, and it tastes like original food from this place. So it's quite important for everyone who lives there, I think, to keep this diversity of culture.
And their identity in a way. All right, but you went there for how long? 2 years?
Almost 2 years. Yeah.
Almost 2 years, and then you came back because you love your country, because you love Poland. And you missed some of it, or
yeah. From the beginning, I was planning to just went to Australia for some time to get English, and then back and keep going, working, developing my career here in Poland. And yeah, I believe that country, Poland, it's a very good country to live. So I didn't really have idea to stay in Australia forever.
All right, so you basically you went there, you brushed up on your English, you came back stronger, and
maybe not brush up because I didn't speak English at all when I went there. I even couldn't communicate some basic stuff. So from nothing to be able to communicate, yeah.
All right, nice.
And
nice.
I, first of all, I thought it will be less than this time which I spent. I first visa I got for 8 months, and I was considering to be in Australia around 1 year, like typical gap year. But to be honest, 1 year wasn't enough, and I decided to stay longer. And also when I was already there longer, I've already had some experience working in Australia. It's very important because they don't really care about experience from other countries, but it's more about working in an industry like hospitality, the workers, what students are doing. So that it's very important for them if you have some experience from Australia. And then it's much easier to find better job with better money, and you are making more friends. So it's much easier to live. With more fun.
I must ask about spiders and snakes.
Everyone is asking about that, but to be honest, I haven't seen. Maybe
Black Widow,
but not too much.
All right.
They call this spider. They call
in your shoe.
No, but I had in my garden. They call this the Black Widow. They call this redback. It's pretty small spider. with very thin legs, and it has the sign on the
So
back.
it's a black widow, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, but they call redback in Australia, like if they're
it's
slang,
really
let's
poison,
say.
really poisonous.
Yeah,
really,
it's very
really
dangerous, but also they have some medicine to help when it bites you, and they have this everywhere.
When
because
it bites you. I want to
yes.
draw your attention to the choice of the word, not if it bites you, but when.
Yeah, but I was bitten by a spider, not this one.
Oh my God.
But it's like the mosquito bites us every summer, so it's not
What do
huge
you mean?
difference.
No, I don't have to rush to the hospital when a mosquito bites me. Were you taken to
but the other spiders in Poland, it's possible they can bite you, or some in Europe, and it's nothing dangerous. In Australia, it is dangerous, but really, it's.
Well, did you have to go to hospital and get this anti-venom or something?
No. First of all, it was in Europe when the spider bites me, and I didn't. But actually, I had the something on my skin, and I didn't know that it's spider. But when I went to hospital, they said that was a spider, and I got this because like I'm sensitive for this kind of animal. Yeah, I think they have different funny spider in Australia. It's the name, it's hunter, and it's a huge one. It's the size is like your hand, like
whoa,
big
and it's
hand,
hairy,
even
and it's
man
hairy.
hand. It's hairy, and it jumped on you. When you try to catch it jumped on your face.
Face?
It doesn't bite
like
you.
It doesn't bite you.
Your face?
Oh my God. All right.
Yes,
how soon do you kind of die after this? How much time do you have to go?
They just try to scare you, and they are quite successful in this.
Don't even bite you. They just try and okay.
Yeah, and there is so many videos in the internet, like funny ones. Like they like to get into your car when inside to AC, because after driving there is warm for there or cold. It depends on the weather. And they went inside when you turn off your car, and then when you start driving again, they feel the wind from the aircon, and they coming out inside in the car. So it's possible to see, like, you drive and you see some car in front of you suddenly start going like crazy, like not on the road straight away. Probably the spider went out inside in the car.
Oh my God. All right. Well, each country has their problems,
their own spiders.
So, yes, their own spiders, exactly. All right.
In the closet.
But I didn't feel stressed about spiders, and never.
Okay.
All right. So I wanted to ask you just maybe one last question about Australia, before we get down to the thinking out loud proper. Maybe we'll have some, if exactly. Have you, or did you see any rain in Australia?
Yes, it's raining a lot because Sydney, it's, how to say? I don't even know in Polish actually how to say, but it's there is the raining season and the hot season. So when it's a raining season, it's a lot of raining, and the raining is crazy. It's very strong, and when you need to go anywhere, somewhere, whatever, you went outside for a few minutes, even a second, and you will get wet, everything. So it's very heavy.
I'm asking you because I remember I traveled once in a train with two girls from Australia, and I can't remember what was a train to Ljubljana, I guess, in Slovenia, and there were some clouds in the sky, and they were like really afraid because they were from Central Australia, and apparently and they told us that they haven't seen rain for I don't know how many years, some really long time, not even a cloud in the sky, you know. So, to me, Australia
Okay,
is
because it
right now, you
depends
know.
of the part of Australia. It's huge
Yeah, for
country,
sure. It's a
so
huge continent.
there are
Yeah, it's a
different.
continent.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, fine. Fast forward, you came back to Poland. You are living there. I know you're a soldier, and I think, Masha, if you allow me, I would like to ask Ania, you know, a
The
proper question,
question.
you know, from
Uh-huh.
yes,
Okay.
and I wonder, please let me share the sounds because I'm going to
Yeah,
play the round
something
one
decent. Yeah.
thing. Yeah, it's something for Ella, you know, to enjoy. I think because no, sorry, Ella actually prefers Masha if you do it. So
Not
I don't
today.
know.
I'll do
Okay,
it when
wait a sec.
when she's on our show. I'll definitely do it for
Okay.
her. Mm-hmm.
All right, great. Let me. All right. Fine. Grzesiek is asking me if we can start the class. Well, not now. All right. He'll have to wait. Sorry, guys, I lost you. Where are you? Okay, you're on Zoom. Okay, I'm checking Skype. Oh my God. All right. Let me announce this round properly. I was very close, Masha, to hitting fart, you know, because all these sounds, you know, my favorites are one next to another. All right, so
Round one, fight.
right. Anya, I'd like to ask you, how do you see the difference between a soldier and a warrior?
That's a deep one.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, you know, I'm not hiding. This is in the category of the best of, you know, in my database of questions, you know. So
Okay. I think I can compare being a warrior like being a fighter by your heart. Like,
mhm.
I doing martial arts too. I do
All
training
right.
quite a lot because around six
She's
times
doing
per week.
everything. She's doing everything, Masha, you know.
And I think I can find some idea from there because
Mhm.
when you fight, when you compete, it's quite important to don't give up. And if you have this attitude to keep starting, like doing again and again and again, that makes you a fighter. So I would say that makes you a warrior. And yeah, I would say that it's about your attitude, your like kind of personality.
Mhm.
And I believe that it's quite kind of about being brave.
Mhm.
But my understanding of being brave, it's not that you don't feel scared. You can feel that and still keep going. So that would be the definition of being a warrior for me.
Mhm.
But about the soldier, I would say that how I understand that, it's like being in a huge organization and you don't really need to think that much. You just do
Mhm.
the orders.
Yeah.
And it's important to doing this well enough to keep this organization working well.
All right. Great. Great. I love I love these definitions. Um, I am tempted to ask mm, because you said that warriors, of course, they don't give up. They compete, and because it's more about attitude. But before regular armies were created, there were only warriors, right? Like if you think about, you know, the Indians in the Wild West in the USA, or I think, you know, very early stages of Europe, you know, with kingdoms and knights and so on. These were warriors, right? They weren't soldiers.
Even I think when you put this in this way, for me, it's just the old-fashioned word for soldier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And to connect this both, I think soldiers should have the attitude like a warrior, so like a fighter, like
Mm-hmm.
To as I said, not give up and keep going. And what else I can add? The attitude of being ready to sacrifice, even, but that's quite dramatic to say sacrifice their life. But on the other hand, it is what it is. Like when you're a soldier and you get into war, you have to be ready for the war. So that's the
Yeah,
biggest
just like
sacrifice
the
what
medical,
human
just
can
like the
do.
medical, yeah, just like the medical personnel had to be ready to get infected during a pandemic, right? I mean, everybody's got their professional risks.
Yeah, and
Of
even
course.
when it's time of peace, still, soldier, it's not typical regular work. It's I don't know how to say in English the word. It's służba, so it's not just
Service, you know.
service. So yeah, so it's service which bring behind this word that you have to sacrifice. Sometimes it's a good sleep because you have to work at night. You have some training at night. Sometimes you have to sacrifice spending holidays or Christmas with your family because there is a time when you have to go to work. So it's quite a lot about sacrifice something for the mother country.
Yeah,
or
for your
just other
homeland.
for our community, for the community of the country.
This sacrifice is definitely there. I want to ask you about efficiency, and who do you think is better, a group of soldiers versus a group of warriors, and who would you bet on winning?
Soldiers or warriors? I
I
would
know
say
it's highly abstract, you know, an experiment, but it's a thought experiment.
Yeah, so I would choose warriors because behind that it's my belief that they are more into the beliefs that they have to fight for something. And it's easier for me to imagine that they are even more willing to sacrifice something like their life or just fighting harder. Because thinking of soldiers for me is that they are professionals, they are just employees.
Yeah, they're employees, exactly.
And maybe it's their attitude can be not that ready for this kind of sacrifice. Even the training bring this for them. Still, in nowadays it's difficult to sacrifice ourselves for others. So
yes, and I still wonder, you know, because if you think about the Wild West once again, we know the outcome, right? The soldiers actually won against warriors, the Apache or other, you know, warriors. And I think
maybe
in this
because
case it
they
was
had guns.
yeah. I
Apache
mean,
didn't have guns.
yeah,
Sorry.
of course, and numbers, right? And numbers, I think.
Yeah.
I think that something would change with time is that in the past kind of army like warrior might build by warriors would be for the person who is managing that. It in the past was easier to put humans' life into danger, and now not only training for regular soldier, but also for the people who managing there. It's the human life. It's treated in a different way. I mean, it's not that easy to send soldiers to war and just be aware that they are going to be killed. Now, if there is a huge risk, they don't put human in the difficult situation, a dangerous situation.
All right. Yeah, I think coming back to there were different perceptions. You know, there was no, I guess, the public opinion wasn't so sensitive and so on. Basically, different times, right? I want to ask you, Ania, one more question, maybe sensitive question about women in the army. What do you think? Is it actually a job for women, just as for men? It was traditionally a task for men, right? Unless we
I
talk
think
about some
nowadays
Amazon.
I think nowadays
Amazon
it's
army.
nothing
Right.
really to discuss. Like, it's totally normal. We have both genders in the army, and obviously some tasks are dedicated for different people, but it's not about gender in some way. It's, let's say, when we have team and some people have different skills, let's say someone is stronger than the other one, just the person who is stronger is doing some different activities. Let's say we prepare the base in the forest, and we can just decide who is doing which task, and it's not really about the difference in gender. And I think that quite obvious there are different roles for people. So every soldier has some kind of specialization, and so most of the position doesn't really need to choose if the woman or man is doing this kind of job. There's like, we use cars, we use some machines, like there's so much help for our muscles, so there's not big difference.
Yeah, you're right. Pretty soon maybe exoskeletons as well. And all right, fine. Masha, questions to Ania. Come on, throw something, you know. We've got a chance, one in a million years. No, I'm kidding. Ania, we will invite you back. But
I don't have any questions.
okay.
The only burning question I had about Australia, I've already asked it.
All right. But I wanted, since we are talking about armies and so on, it's naturally that I would like to mention leadership, you know, and I don't know if that will actually count as round 2, Masha, but it rarely happens. But
round 2, fight.
All right. I'd like to ask you, Ania, how do you see the difference between a guru and a leader? And do you think that a leader should be the most skilled of all?
So I believe that the leader doesn't have to have knowledge of everything. He built a team, and people in the team, they have different skills, and that's the power of the team. And more important for the leader, it's be able to motivate people and give them tasks which they do in the best way. So it's more about knowing people, their possibilities, their strengths and weaknesses, and then just managing is a clue, and it's the managing is a skill, because I think sometimes
Yeah, that for sure.
we don't see that like managing is a skill. Managing is just easy job, but it's not at all. It's even more difficult because you have to work with people problems and try to solve them to make the best possibilities to achieve the goal which team has. So that's my point of view. And guru for me sounds like something connected with religion and
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, but you can also have a guru of JavaScript, I guess. Or I don't know, a guru of anything, you know.
yeah, but still,
Of
I
course,
think it's put it
it's a metaphorical use.
with believing more than abilities to work or managing or something like that. And for me, sounds more like manipulative way of making people do something for us, not like motivate them to make them willing to do that for the goal, for achieving the goal.
It's interesting, you know. Maybe Buddha was just, you know, manipulating. He got to this level, you know, somehow. And I want to ask you because you mentioned that yeah, leadership is about being able to motivate and so on, but it's also about showing an example, right? I guess. And
Yeah.
I'm asking you also in the context, but you told me when we met last week that you weren't actually a straight A student, meaning that you weren't. Can I say you weren't good at school, or I'm basically putting you in?
I think it's not good meaning because I didn't have any problems to get the knowledge which school provided. It was
Yes.
more about my behavior and my attitude. And that makes me as a student more like a troublemaker student than very polite one, which is doing everything what teachers expect.
Yeah,
And
you
the
told me
program.
you would ask difficult questions, or you would question the need of doing something, and it would basically get you in hot water.
Yes, I was questioning a lot at this time, and I think it's part of human developing. And now I believe school program change, maybe not the fundament of the program because it's quite similar, but more the attitude of teachers. They don't feel like they are God for the students. They more like a partner. So that can be also this kind of difference which we talk about guru and leader. So when I was at school, teachers were more like guru. They just tell us.
I'm not going to ask you about your age, but you don't look old, and that means that probably when you were at school, I was somewhere at school too, and that I don't know if do you think so much has changed within what a decade?
25 years, it's quite a lot. I'm 36, so it's already a few years.
Yeah,
so I think it's enough to change.
All right. I have
and
no
maybe
idea.
It's just I've met this kind of teachers, and probably I was the trigger for them also. Like maybe they didn't have this attitude that much in a in a regular base, but when I started questioning
how much of this attitude is still left in you? I mean, asking difficult questions and questioning perhaps the decisions of your superiors.
Unfortunately, I think some part of myself was killed at school, but some of this behavior and attitude I kept, and I can use this in my work because lately I'm doing marketing, which gives me a lot of opportunity to put everything on the other way, like looking some solution which are not obvious, and this kind of questioning everything, it's very useful at my work. So yeah, that's why I believe
So
that it's better to change your environment than changing yourself, because probably your personality, your skills, they can be, it's possible to use them just in a different place, and it will be appreciated when you find good environment, when you fit where you fit well.
Great, great. Yeah, I wanted to exactly express, this kind of amazement that you do actually work in, like I said before, in a big company, but you keep some sort of independence, right? You're not a cog in a machine.
Yeah, but probably if I would work in accounting, it wouldn't work. But because I work in marketing, it works.
All right. All right.
Yeah, and putting some new ideas and concepts which are very different are very appreciated. And also the company where I work, it's a very cool place for people like me, because they are open for other ideas and they really implement them, and they are giving space for being yourself and creating something new and different. And as I said, it's appreciated, so that works very well.
Which is great, I think, and relatively rare. Even though I have no experience, I have only secondhand experience when it comes to working in big companies. All right, great, Ania. Thanks so much for answering all of these questions. Quite chaotic, speaking of soldiers, warriors, then leaders, gurus, and so on, and yourself a little bit. All right, Masha, maybe you have something to ask, something from the top of
You've
your
already
head.
asked this.
I asked what?
Asked me if I wanted to
All
ask
right, all
something.
right. But okay. I don't want you to
No,
be
it's a
on the
great
sideline,
conversation, and I'm just this fly on the wall. When you're a fly on the wall, you can really, really understand, what the person is saying and think about it. I'm really engaged. It's just that I'm
Yeah,
silent.
I wanted to activate you also vocally. That people can hear you a little bit. What are your reflections or
Well, of
your
course, my
thoughts?
reflections are about the first question, because I'm observing it right now firsthand, how people can be different. And actually, we have, of course, people get conscripted to the army, but there is another option. You can volunteer, and then you can choose where to serve. And we have one very famous, it's a brigade. Is it the same word in English? Brigade?
Yeah, I guess.
It's called the 3rd Assault, I guess, Brigade. And they are advertising heavily, and they are recruiting people. So in their advertisement, they use this motto that, join us. This is a place where soldiers become warriors. So they use
Interesting.
this word, it's because Anna said that it's like an old-fashioned word, and it's truly easy. We don't use it today, but it definitely means something more because they use it in such a way. And I
Which
would
would
say
kind
that
of indicate that a warrior is above in hierarchy somehow, above a soldier.
yeah,
Simple
because
soldier.
people who even, a lot of people volunteered during the first days of the war. There were lines, huge lines to conscription offices, and not all even people were taken because there was not enough, weapon. And but anyway, even though these people are brave, they have all the qualities which Anna mentioned the warriors should have. I don't think they would call themselves warriors because this is not who they are. They were IT specialists, drivers, you know, real estate agents, and they became soldiers because this is what they felt was the right thing to do.
Yeah, I
But
think,
but
Masha,
a
sorry
warrior,
to interrupt. I love what you're saying, but I think that putting on the uniform is already making you a soldier, right?
yes,
It's not a big deal to become a soldier, is it? Technically or formally, maybe.
technically, yes. But anyway, you can be a great soldiers, and in many movies, when we talk about again movies, Second World War, First World War movies, they would be examples of good soldiers who performed something, you know, that a warrior would do.
Extraordinary, like
Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan.
Like that. Yeah, I was thinking about
All
this film. But then, again, I will be referencing a lot of pop culture today. I don't know if you've seen Top Gun Maverick. It's a fantastic film, and especially if you
Is that
love.
the first Top Gun?
And they
No,
made
the-
it's the
this.
second.
The new one. No,
Yes,
sorry, I
and
haven't watched it yet.
and this is what he said. There is a line there. He says at some point that I'm not. He was asked to teach, to train a team of pilots, and he said, "I'm not a teacher. I am a fighter pilot. This is who I am. This is my essence." So I think a warrior is. This is how a person sees himself. You know how you would identify yourself, because yes, you can be a soldier for some time because this is that's your duty. But you would not necessarily call yourself a warrior if it's not your
You're right,
essence,
you're
you know,
right.
if it's not who you are at heart.
But I would like to put there some pinch of salt because they romanticize.
Yeah,
this.
romanticize, yes. This is
So,
what movies do. They
and
romanticize war.
these movies and some other movies and some video games were created with the idea of making people willing become soldier. It's like
Yeah.
a part of the marketing campaign to
Propaganda,
make,
essentially, because you
yeah,
need people
yeah, that's the strong word, but
to be
actually
ready to
fits
die
very
for
better.
this territory. And this
Yeah.
is what countries do, of course. But isn't patriotism as a concept is the same thing? Because if there was no such thing as patriotism, then people just wouldn't be willing to go and die for this, you know.
How I
land.
wish we went into this, Masha. That's why we need you, you know, because I wish we didn't go into this guru leader stuff, but exactly patriotism and this concept, you know, it's fantastic. If you know, if you think about it, it's a pity we are sort of running out of time. But Masha, wait, did you actually say that patriotism is some kind of a fake concept?
No, I didn't say it's a fake concept, but
That it's
let's
kind
leave
of
it for another.
sorry, no, maybe, but that it's being exploited. Maybe it's not a fake concept. It's obviously not. This is why Ania came back from Australia. She didn't stay there, you know, earning money and basking in the sun. And I think patriotism is real,
Of course,
except
it's
the
real. It's a
concept.
very
It's some kind of
powerful thing, but it's a
it's a
concept.
powerful thing.
Imagine there
But
was
it's
no such thing as patriotism. There would be simply no wars. Well, apart from religious wars.
No, there would be wars, I guess,
But
because
why
wars
would
are not
you go
fueled
and
by
Based on
fight?
the
patriotism, are they?
economic.
Well, some
Yeah,
other wars,
exactly.
but most wars are what? Because of something you believe in, that you believe that this is your territory,
But
this
you want to
is your
tell me that
land.
there are wars because there are national states? No, because there's always, you know, a territory rich in gold, rich in other, you know,
Yeah, and
rare.
I think that's the
Yes, but
effect
this
of
is
making
what
romantic
this
this
is
in
what
a
leaders fight for. They know what they're fighting for. Leaders, I mean, tyrants or whoever, but people, they will not go. I mean, who cares about this oil and whatever? They need to have an idea.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
An idea. This is my land. You know, why would I go tomorrow and join the army right now in my country? Because of some, you know, oil or I don't know what. No,
whatever,
I
right?
have this idea that this is my home and this is what I fight for.
Mhm.
Some people fight for money. They have always been mercenaries, and they were actually good warriors. They were warriors. This is what they did for a living. This is who they are at heart. They will go and fight whenever and wherever there is a war. And I don't actually think that, soldiers are. I mean, it's not black and white that soldiers are employees and they get paid, and warriors don't care about money.
Mhm.
They do. I mean, because they have to make a living, they have to eat, and do other things. So they also get paid, or they take the payment. It used to be like that. You go and you just ransack the city and take whatever you want.
Mhm.
Hey,
All right, great.
everybody.
Yeah,
frozen?
I always say that more Masha on the show, better quality of the show. That's what I say. And all right. So I wonder,
Yeah, I
we
think
have.
what Masha said, that's what I mean, saying that the attitude, what do you feel about yourself as a warrior, fighter, soldier, the way how you see yourself. Yeah, that's what I think. That's same.
Yeah, when
Just to
I,
conclude.
yeah, exactly. I like Masha that this slogan, that we will make you a warrior out of a soldier, right?
That we
Which
will
kind of
make you. This is
sorry,
where soldiers
where you see?
become
Okay,
warriors.
okay,
We
fine,
can't
but
make you a
sorry.
warrior. You can only become.
Right.
You can't teach
Yeah, you
English.
can.
People can only learn English. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. Thanks so much. I think we will have to somehow put a full stop to this conversation somewhere here because Grzesiek is waiting for me.
Hi,
All right.
Jessica.
Ania, thanks so much for being here. It was a
Thank you.
pleasure to say the least. Fantastic conversation. We've opened many threads, I think, but thanks a lot. It's been really very what I wanted to say fertile, but it's not. Intellectually, yes. Thanks a lot, Ania, for joining us.
Thank you. That was pleasure.
And
All right, Masha, I
is
think
it
it's over to
finally
you. Except, I want to say to everybody who is still with us that you should sign up or subscribe to our newsletter, tolpodcast.com, and this is where you find
for your
the form.
dose of
Inspiration, motivation, and education. Yes,
Maybe.
exactly. Maybe, yes. All
We
right.
have in Ukrainian, ale це не точно. But this is maybe not exactly true. Okay, so this was another episode of the Thinking Out Loud podcast. Thank you, and stay tuned for the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.